How do I prepare thoroughly before I buy a property?
Mariah, what is important is that many times we want to purchase a property, it's an instant decision, and it should not be. You should think it through thoroughly and prepare to make sure that the affordability and your credit bureau is in place. So in a case where you know that you're 1 or 2 or 3 months behind, maybe on your Edgar's account or whatever account, is to make plans to settle those accounts or to bring it up to date. Because once we've submitted your application and the bank picks up that you're not a regular payer on certain accounts, they will decline you, because then your record shows that you're not a trustworthy creditor to the bank. And that's why we, as a bond originator, focus almost on each and every application to pre-qualify you before you buy. In the instance where you have your eye on a house and you want that house, it's fine. You can discuss the terms with your property specialist. But in that case, still, let us do a pre-qualification, because that will give us access to your affordability, to your credibility, and to make sure that if there's any hiccups that we might find underway with the application, that we address it beforehand. Because once it's with the bank, they will start asking questions. And when the bank starts asking questions, it's more difficult for us to explain. So we would prefer to talk to you up front, understand what your situation is, because everything has got a reason, and we will address those issues with you. And in some instances, it might take 2 or 3 months longer to make sure that your credit scoring is of such that the bank will have no hiccups to grant you the loan.
So, say for instance, I was behind on 5 or 6 of my installments, and for the last month or 2, I brought them up to date, and I am ready now to buy. But all 5 of them, I wasn't very good. I didn't pay them each and every month. So, does that help me now to say, okay, everything has been paid up now, but it's less than 2 months ago that I was still behind on some of them? Will those still affect my credit or not?
It will affect your credit, yes. But on the positive side is that you have paid it, but unfortunately your record, your repayment record to any creditor will stay on your record for 24 months.
Sure.
So the bank will be able to see that the last 8 months you were in arrears and that you've now paid it up in a month or 2. So they will not necessarily decline your application, but that will then definitely have an effect on the loan to value that you can expect. So you might be requested to put down a deposit just to safeguard the bank if they're quite happy. And remember, there's 2 credit records that the banks are using. The one is external, and then the one is internal. So the internal one, they measure your credit life with the bank to see, do you have a check account? Are your debit orders being paid? Is your salary going into that account? How much money do you have over and 3 days before payday? And those are the kind of things that will affect your internal scoring. The external scoring you also have control over, because that's how you pay your accounts and when you do pay it. So it's advisable to make sure that if your repayment date is on the 2nd, that you repay it on the 2nd. Because if you pay by the 5th, that creditor will list you as a slow payer, and that will also have an adverse effect in your scoring, and therefore you might be required to put down a deposit instead of obtaining a 100% loan.
And I think what I hear you say, you said in the beginning, this is not an impulsive decision. You can have an impulsive decision if you want to buy a car. They do not do the thorough checks that a buying of a property do. So if you want to buy a property, this is prepare to buy. Get ready. This is a process of 6 months, maybe a year if it's very severe, but 6 months to 3 months, get yourself ready. Make sure everything has been paid up. Make sure you have all the letters or it's paid up to date. Make sure that if you had arrangements with financial institutions where you couldn't pay the full installment, you make sure that those has been paid up to date, because if it gets to the bank, we've got one shot and that's it. One shot to shine and have our moment of fame.
That's true. So be prepared, and then to get a home loan is not that difficult.
No. That's why you need us. We will help you and make it easy and effortless.
Of course.
Thank you for your time, Gerrit. I appreciate it.
Sure.